I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't drink anything without feeling pain and pain, true pain.
Well, you can thank the Me Too movement for that. Men are not going to willingly walk into a situation where they're likely to have the cops called on them or be labeled a creep just because they like you.
It's an evil world we live in.
Now, we keep hearing stories from women complaining that men are not approaching them anymore, but you hardly hear them talk about taking accountability for their actions. Good job, ladies. You finally got what you wanted. Men are listening to you for once in your life, and they're staying the fuck away. Have fun, ladies. Here's this lady saying she puts herself out there, but she's never engaged by anyone, and she's seeking some answers. Let's roll the tape.
Hey guys, this is for 30-year-old women who are Christian and still single. I'll start by saying this. I turned 30 last year. I'm going to be 31 this fall. I have never been asked out on a date in my life, and I mean that. Never. I've never been approached by a guy. I've never had a man show interest in me. And I would never have admitted to that a couple years ago. I was ashamed and embarrassed about that. I was like, oh, it's because I'm stupid maybe, or, I'm not attractive, or all these things. Like, I thought it was a deficiency in me. But I have been hearing from other women the exact same thing, especially Christian women, where it's like, no one, I'm 27, I'm 28, I've never been asked out. And so I think there's a problem on both sides. I think that women get blamed a lot, where people will say, you whored yourself in your 20s, and you cared about your career and you did all these things to keep men away from you. And I think I never did any of that stuff. And I know a lot of other women who didn't do that stuff.
Now, what I find interesting is that some women will say things like, I'm not the problem. I don't glamorize feminism. What about me? Is something wrong with me? While that may be true, humans generalize a lot, and men are no exception. Similar to how a lot of women have the view that most men are creeps and predators, a lot of guys have been jaded by comments women make about the Me Too thing and not wanting men to approach them or even look at them. So most men don't want to be blasted on the news or social media when all they wanted to do was strike up a conversation. So we see guys prioritizing health and fitness and getting their finances in order. Long story short, if I see 100 snakes coming at me, I'm not gonna stick around to see which one of them won't bite me. I'm just gonna run, because guess what? Snakes bite.
And they're just, men aren't asking women out maybe. I don't know. I do put myself out there, and I know other women who put themselves out there. We'll get all cute. We'll go to the tea shops. We're very open to having conversations with strangers. And, we do a lot of things in hopes that someone will just walk up to us and say, hey, here's my number or whatever. However that works, I don't know. And there's not a lot of men doing that. And I will make some more videos. I have stories and stuff I'd like to share. But anyways, I hope it's an encouragement to those who are like me, because I didn't see any videos like this a year ago, and that would have been really helpful. So that's why I'm putting this out there. Don't be embarrassed. Jesus loves you, and I don't know, maybe we can fix this, or talk about how we can fix it. Bye.
She seems like a very nice person, but I'm going to be real about this. No one is going to sit around the fire and kumbaya and talk about their differences, okay? Men have been trying to extend an olive branch to women for years now. Even while there are more men inside, there are still some of us that are willing to give solid advice to make dating a lot smoother for both parties. But the amount of vitriol that comes from the other side is crazy. There are women like Shira7 who are literally showing women how to swindle men, not to mention the numerous copycat channels around dishing out the same type of information. We're seeing where more men are making the efforts to protect not only their assets, but their time, their peace, their seed, and most importantly, their freedom, because Lord knows it can be taken away just like that. I really hope she finds somebody, because she seems like a decent person and she is beautiful from what I can tell.
You serious?
Now we move to an article of women complaining about men orbiting them or not shooting their shots. What I find funny is that when men do shoot their shots, women just shoot them down. You can't have it both ways. Let's roll the tape.
Okay, so I'm reading this New York Times Modern Love column called Men, Where Have You Gone? Please Come Back. I want to read part of this column because I think it just sums up, I think, where we are as a culture. And it's this idea that my friend and I talked about quite a bit because she's on the dating apps and she is like a very direct, forward person, asks for what she wants, sets the boundaries. And what she's getting back in return from men is like silence, ghosting, avoidance, whatever. And she is like, what's going on?
Sorry, but I'm gonna have to stop you right there. What's going on is that men are taking what you're saying and giving you just that. If they won't agree to your terms and conditions, they're just gonna opt out of it. No thank you, ma'am. You can keep your job.
Rejected.
What, you expect me to chase you, bitch? Not happening.
Not gonna happen. No, not gonna happen.
Proceed.
So that's basically the conceit of this article, and I really like the writing. So I encourage you to read the whole thing, but let me read you a couple paragraphs. So she writes about James, this man that she meets on Raya. There was just enough spark to wonder what might unfold, enough curiosity to imagine a doorway, but he didn't step through it. He hovered, flirting, retreating, offering warmth but no direction. Sexual tension and a spark aren't reason enough to sit still and hope there's substance behind the shimmer. So I named what I felt. I texted him clearly with care, not simply to declare attraction, but to extend a real invitation to explore what was possible. I didn't chase, I invited, leaving the door open. He never replied.
It's not my fault.
He still follows my Instagram stories, one of those small gestures of passive engagement that so many of us mistake for closeness. It looks like interest, it feels like silence. What I won't entertain is directionless orbiting, that thing so many men now seem to mistake for connection. Their perpetual maybe, the emoji check-ins, the casual seeing where it goes without ever going anywhere. There was a time not so long ago when even a one-night stand might end with tangled limbs and a shared breakfast, when the act of staying the night didn't announce a relationship, just a willingness to be human for a few more hours. This idea that vulnerability is a threat instead of an invitation has created a culture of hesitation, of men circling intimacy but never entering it. And the result is thousands of tiny silos, everyone performing closeness, but no one making a move that binds. Okay, I like this part. Maybe we're between paradigms, mourning what's fallen, not yet fluent in what comes next. Intimacy's infrastructures, slowness, curiosity, accountability, have been eroded by haste, convenience, and a kind of sanctioned emotional retreat. So I really like that because it's talking about some of the common things that we talk about of like male loneliness and male isolation and blah, blah, blah. But what's interesting is she's saying, I'm giving you invitations. I'm inviting you out. I'm opening the door, and you, meaning men, are not walking through it. And that feels like an interesting new angle to this. And I think the sharp part is around like, they're still looking at your Instagram stories and how it feels like that is almost a replacement for a relationship. Like that sort of digital, weird, parasocial, keeping tabs on thing is enough, is sufficient.
Oh no, it's the consequences of my own actions. Look, men have given up the idea of chasing. If I have to chase you, I don't want you anymore. To put it simply, women that play hard to get are hard to want. I'm not going to perpetually play your game of hot and cold, wonder if there's still attraction for me, or if you even like me. Meanwhile, I can invest my time into meaningful stuff like working out, reading the Bible, learning new skills, or even spending my time and efforts with a woman who shows unapologetically that she really loves and cares for me. If you want to play get a dog, get a cat, I don't care. You ask where men are? We are in the gym, working on our bodies. We're at home, working on our mind. We are at work, working on our finances. We are at church, working on our souls. And we're at the government agency, working on our passports. It's funny, I have to put that one in there. Guys, and the 3.7 girls who watch my channel, if you love this video, if you like this video, if you hated this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a share, a follow, a comment, anything. subscribe so I can monetize this channel and escape the matrix. Help a brother out, man.